ready to learn some stuff, some fun facts about wolves from Tierzoo. How wolves broke the game. Scott.
At the height of the Ice Age, the Tundra server was filled with incredibly overpowered beasts. Smilodon's Fang perk enabled it to one-shot nearly any other player in the game. The short-faced bear was seemingly invincible, being the largest carnivorous mammal build of all time. And the cave hyena had an absurdly powerful bite force, able to crack bones and tear incredible amounts of flesh with every bite. Yet, of the Ice Age's top predators,
look at the eyes. They're so beautiful.
One which proved to be the most resilient and indeed the most successful was the wolf. Even though wolves are nowhere near as massive or as powerful as these other Ice Age monsters, today the wolf build is—
He got something between his teeth. Is someone gonna tell him? True friendship is when you tell the other person that they got something stuck between their teeth. And wolves are pack animals. His friend should have told him that there's something between his teeth.
It's practically synonymous with ferocity and hunting prowess.
Whoa.
But what is it about wolves that made them such a force of nature? Today we'll find out. So, wolves are part of the carnivoran archetype.
Look, he's just wagging his tail. He's happy, right?
Which became popular during the Miocene update. The main perk of this archetype is something called carnassial teeth, a trait which greatly improves the ability of carnivorous builds to consume food.
Special perk.
Rather than needing to swallow things whole, or mercilessly slam-dunking the daylights out of things until they fall apart, carnassial teeth enable the player to bite off small chunks of meat.
Yeah, and they can digest better, right? And then get energy and grow strong better, faster.
Like a small thing, but really it opens up tons of new opportunities for carnivorous playstyles, including for scavenging carcasses and for sharing larger kills among teammates. The carnivoran archetype is split into two main factions, feliforms and caniforms.
Carnivorans. Lion. What is a mongoose? It's very little ears. Meerkat. Timon. Oh, I didn't know meerkats eat meat. Timon lied to Simba. Meerkats are carnivorous. They eat meat. And Timon told Simba to eat bugs. Bear, skunk, wolf, dog.
There are a ton of differences between these two, but I'll try and simplify them into how the differences play out in practice.
This screen? What game is this from? Because even though I don't recognize it, I'm sure that this is like a game menu, knowing how he makes his video, but I wonder what game this is inspired of.
At their core, feliforms are adapted to being hyper-carnivorous ambush predators, whereas caniforms are more generalist in nature. This is most obvious in their snouts, which have different shapes.
This is like
and
jumped into his mouth.
Caniforms tend to have longer, less compact snouts. This enables them to carry a wide range of different types of teeth, suited for a more omnivorous playstyle. You have some teeth for dealing damage, some for shearing meat, some for crunching bones or nuts, and even some for chewing on plant fibers.
Red pandas. I love red pandas. I feel like they have a very Pokemon-like design.
Meanwhile, feliforms have shorter snouts, enabling them to have a higher bite force, but limiting them to pretty much only having teeth meant for either dealing damage or shearing off chunks of meat. The longer caniform snout gives them other advantages too. The larger nasal cavity enables them to breathe more efficiently and intake more oxygen.
I love how he expressed this with the stem circle bar.
This gives caniform builds much greater stamina, enabling them to run for much greater distances without tiring. It also facilitates their vastly superior sense of smell, which enables them to track prey, scavenge for food, and find teammates. So it makes sense why just about every feliform build is an ambush predator, whereas caniforms can be anything from acrobatic marine builds to slow tanky herbivores. Focusing more specifically on wolves though, pretty much everything I've said so far about the caniform build applies here.
This is the OP. OP is the end of the spectrum. You wanna pet the dog? Pet the dog. What I wanna do is I wanna touch the ears. It's so cute.
In depth analysis, let's take a look at the wolf's base stats. So, as ferocious as wolves are thought to be, their power stat is fairly mid for an apex predator. Wolves aren't really going to be one-shotting anything larger than a rabbit with their bite attacks, and due to the non-retractability of their claws, they aren't going to be doing much damage with their paw swipe either. And yet, taking out players above their own weight class is a signature aspect of the wolf's strategy.
It's interesting that they cannot retract their claws, but then cats can. It's true, dogs cannot retract their claws.
done by chaining strings of bite attacks together in order to inflict the blood loss status
Nah,
condition,
not the
which
blood
drains the
loss.
target's health and stamina over time. When executed properly by a
They have the bleed build. Oh my gosh. No.
wolves, this can bring down basically anything,
This is not
no matter how
fair.
large the target. But obviously, since this is not a quick process, there's a lot of room for mistakes. So let's see how wolves handle taking damage rather than dealing it. So due
Okay.
to their lower defense stat, wolves are going to be mostly relying on their agility to avoid damage.
Very
They aren't
agile.
totally defenseless. Their thick fur and general bulk does allow them to absorb a few blows if necessary, but it's mostly there for warmth, not combat. Their stealth stat is a similar story. Their gray fur overcoat does offer a moderate stealth bonus, but is primarily there for warmth and can
Got him. Removing the one ear move tactic to make them extra cute looking.
be easily spotted except against a few specific backgrounds. As I sort of mentioned during the segment about caniform versus feliform builds, the perception stat is central to the wolf's
You're
gameplay.
so
Their
cute.
ability to track scents is quite literally one of the best in the game, able to detect smells from miles away.
That's
But their top
crazy.
tier perception stat doesn't end at
This-
olfaction. Their sense of hearing is also exceptionally powerful. While many players believe the cat's hearing is superior, in reality they are roughly equivalent in terms of pure sensitivity, but are fine-tuned for different purposes. Cats are much better at sensing higher-pitched sounds, allowing them to detect hidden prey nearby, such as the sound of a mouse breathing under the leaf litter.
Oh,
Wolves
that's
are better
cool.
at sensing low rumbling sounds, meaning they can discern the location of larger prey from miles away. And the same is true for their eyesight. The cat's slitted pupils allow to strike smaller targets with perfect accuracy, but are not as useful as the wolf's large circular pupils for locking onto prey from a long distance. And as I've already alluded to,
Wait, so the shape of their pupil makes this kind of different? It's
As
like
of-
a different shaped camera lens.
the wolf's above average intelligence stat enables some excellent options for teamwork and pack hunting.
Dogs
They
are
can communicate
smart.
and coordinate over great distances using their howl ability. The combination of teamwork and extremely powerful perception abilities allows wolves to control massive territories. We'll get more in depth into their hunting tactics in a bit. Mobility is their second highest stat, and this greatly assists in their ability to defeat players in higher weight classes. Simply put, wolves have an incredible
I
amount
was
of stamina
definitely
and
rooting
can
for that bear though. When they were like targeting one animal with like a huge pack, that's just a bully, man.
run for longer distances than pretty much anything it could ever encounter. This makes sense, as being able to sense prey from a great distance wouldn't do
No
much
way.
good if you had no ability to run them down. So when you add all of this up, just how effective of a build is the wolf? It really does come down to how effective their pack hunting abilities are. If you were to strip all of that away, I actually think the wolf would be mid at best. Their power stat is way below average for an apex predator, being more in line with that of a scavenger or generalist. There's no way a lone wolf is bringing down one of the tundra server's many tanky herbivores. Yet, as a player, if all you want to do is grief smaller mammal builds like rabbits and squirrels, you're really better off playing as a smaller caniform, like a fox or a mink. In order to get the most out of a wolf's kit, you
Wait, so is he saying that a single fox is like could be stronger than a single wolf? Is it because the fox is smaller and can get to little places that bunnies can run away to? Maybe.
In order to get the most out of a wolf's kit, you need to maximize the
Kit.
utilization of the wolf's perception and stamina
like how he
parts,
describes
which are
it.
most effective at tracking and hunting larger herbivores. So, wolves really are stuck working together. They'd be wasting their potential hunting only smaller builds, but aren't powerful enough to solo a large herbivore.
Oh
Their
no,
kit only
where's my
makes sense
team?
when viewed through the lens of pack hunting. And indeed, the lethality of the wolf's pack hunting tactics is undeniable. Through coordinated attacks and clever kiting, wolves are able to prove that their squads are much more cohesive than that of their targets, and split vulnerable members off from their teammates. And at that point, it really is just a waiting game. Now, it's worth noting that, even in a group, it's often still too risky to just recklessly attack a tanky herbivore. Wolfmanes tend to only attack a fleeing target, so as long as they hold their ground, they shouldn't take damage. But as they tire from fending off bluff strikes, and as their teammates get further and further away, most players will eventually try and make a break for it. And this is where the wolf pack will start dealing damage. By taking turns attacking their back end repeatedly, they'll eventually inflict the blood loss status effect, which slowly drains the target's HP, leading to a guaranteed game over, at which point the entire pack splits the loot. This is overpowered in and of itself.
I guess, yeah, they have to like have the animal. They shine when it's a big animal against like a lot of them, and they try to get that big animal away from its group, and then it's just that's where they pop off.
Is when you re-examine the same tactic through the wolf-human team combo. because all of the things that make the wolves pack hunting work actually function even more effectively when paired with a human. Humans
Why?
and wolves are similar in that both are exceptional distance runners, allowing them to naturally keep pace with each other and avoid slowing each other down. But in addition to having similar perks, they also cover each other's weaknesses and fill in the biggest gaps in each other's hunting strategy. Humans lack the same perception stat that wolves have, which is to sort of
I guess animals can easily sneak almost like this.
lack the same perception
Imagine
stat that
just
wolves
your
have.
regular Saturday, just chilling, and you look to the left, and you have a bear! Ta-da!
While they can use their intelligence to sort of supplement their weak sense of hearing and smell, there's really no substitute to just having a teammate who can lock onto a scent at a great distance and never lose it. But why do wolves need humans? You may remember when wolves hunt, they can oftentimes reach an impasse due to their lack of ability to quickly deal lethal damage. Humans do not have this limitation and can easily break the stalemate using one of their projectile weapons.
Using tools.
The same is true on defense. The wolf's sensory abilities can detect the approach of a dangerous enemy and alert the humans of the impending threat. A threat that
So humans, we can use tools to like do some powerful damage, but we are just so unaware of our surrounding. And then the wolf or the dog is hyper aware of their surrounding, but they lack like the damage power.
wolves alone would struggle to drive away. And so domestic wolf and human hunter-gatherer players naturally made for an unstoppable force that lasted through multiple balance patches, including the end of the Ice Age and the beginning of the Anthropocene. Eventually, after spending so much time cooperating, many wolf players began speccing their characters specifically to better synergize with humans.
Okay, so doggos, like people say like, oh, dogs are humans' best friend and stuff. This is like kind of predating when we were taking dogs in just like as like a pet to like pour love into, and they love us back. Typical DPS human build always needs a support.
Passive mental health regen aura, and higher intelligence and better communication abilities, which allowed them to handle more complicated commands, eventually renaming their build entirely from wolf to dog. And because of their optimization towards collaboration, even as humans transitioned away from their hunter-gatherer playstyle, dogs still remained a relevant and high-tier choice for their party comp.
I wonder how humans domesticated wolves, and how did they change? Like, what made them change? Because there's so many breeds of dogs. Food and patience. Pet them until surrender.
This isn't to say that the wolf's only good interspecies combo is with a human, though. Among the player base who remained wild, one solid
They team up with dinosaurs. No way.
combo is with the raven or crow. They will often seek out a wolf player and lead them to a carcass they'd found far away. These POIs are usually hotly contested and too competitive for a crow to capture by themselves. So, in exchange for leading the wolf there, the wolf will chase away the other players and share the remaining spoils with the bird. But anyway,
so
in short,
they cognitively like know, oh, we're a team. You let me found them, so you share with me. They're so thoughtful and demure.
Wolves broke the game by finding the perfect team comp and being the #1 choice of party member for the most overpowered build the game has ever seen. They were already debatably OP just hunting in wolf packs, but were at least sort of kept in check by their mid damage. But when that limitation is mitigated, their tracking and pursuit hunting abilities are truly unfair to play against. And that's why, despite me only giving wolves a rank of A tier on my Canid tier list, when partnered up with humanity, they are legitimately broken, giving dogs the rank of S tier. Partnering up with other highly capable individuals is pretty much always
they put dog over wolf because dogs are often paired with human, right?
optimal strategy. And if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you've no doubt heard me talk about my favorite team combo, Nebula. Nebula is a streaming service owned and operated by a bunch of awesome creators. We've all partnered up to bring you, our viewers, the best video ecosystem on the internet, free from intrusive ads and manipulative algorithms. But you might already know that. You might even already know all the crazy deals we offer in the subscription pricing, such as an unbelievable $3 per month offer on the annual plan. What you might not know, though, is that in keeping with the theme of team combos and sharing loot, Nebula now offers gift cards. So, if you know anyone who's a fan of either my channel or any of the other amazing Nebula creators, including Legal Eagle, Real Life Lore, Lindsay Ellis, Jetlag, Octopus Lady, Polymatter, and many more, a Nebula gift card could be the perfect gift for them. You can get the exact same deals for the gift cards as you would a normal personal membership. But if you really want to ball out, you could get them, or yourself, a lifetime membership gift card. These are a big investment up front, but honestly, I can think of at least a half dozen other streaming services that I wish offered this sort of deal. The
I
lifetime
wish Netflix does that. It will never do it. But wouldn't it be nice you just pay $300 and you never pay Netflix again?
membership also funds big budget original projects much more directly, so if you'd like to see me really shoot for the moon with some big projects, this is absolutely your best option. I would not expect these sorts of deals to be around much longer, especially the lifetime membership one. So if you're interested, you can either scan the QR code on screen, head to nebula.tv/Tierzoo, or click the link in the description of this video. Thanks again for watching, and as always, good luck out there.
This is really interesting. Interesting way to think about wolves and dogs. Like their weaknesses. And once again, I think just in general, in the animal world, if you can do co-op, it just spins the table. Yay, we got to learn about doggos or wolves, but it just led me with the question of how did the wolves turn into dogs? And how do we end up with so many breeds of dogs? I don't know.